I mean, you seem comfortable on the air. Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it, but I wasn't comfortable the first 2 days. Man, is that difficult to do. I don't know how you guys do this every day.
Money.
And for you, but it is very challenging, and there's so many moving areas. I'll tell you what was the biggest challenge was going from the studio in Los Angeles to a live audience with all the crowd. And it was cold, and it was windy, and we had rain on the first game. But I got to tell you, I mean, I obviously respect all you guys a lot, like I told you. But you're at another level right now.
Now, is this just talking based on the experiences of the season, or how much homework did you have to do going into that first broadcast?
I watch all the time, Don. So
Yeah.
I study the game religiously. And the thing is, if I wasn't at Fox at the studio, I would be at home, and I would be watching every playoff game. And sometimes I rewind plays. And I've been doing that since I was 7 years old. I mean, I learned how to play baseball listening to Ralph Kiner and Tim McCarver. And when I hear I told Tim this, when I hear his voice, I felt like it was an uncle, because I was always, no matter what we had, and we didn't have much growing up, at 7 p.m. when I turned on Tim McCarver, I just felt like I was in a really good place. And my favorite part, not to ramble a little bit, but I really enjoyed Ralph Kiner's Corner.
Yeah.
And I always had to negotiate with my mom, because that was around 11:30. And it was time for bed, but I thought that was a really neat show.
A buddy of the show, Howie Carpin's written a book about Kiner's Corner, so it should be coming out in a couple of months. I think you'll enjoy that, because I was the same way. Just dying to see one of my favorite players do well, so he'd be interviewed by Ralph afterwards. It was terrific stuff.
All right, let's talk about this series, Alex. The Mets are down 2-0. I think some people took for granted, because the Mets had such a great series against the Cubs. The Royals are a really good team. They're young, they're energetic, they play the game the right way. I'm not shocked that they've won the first 2 games, but I don't think the Mets are out of it. What's your take?
Oh, they're not out of it at all. I mean, I have tremendous faith that this series is going to go very long. A few things. I don't understand how a team goes to the World Series and yet is underrated. But in many ways, when I hear the commentary, they're all so surprised that the Royals are who the Royals are. I said in one of our shows that these guys have been together for a really long time. They've been in college for 10 years, and that's powerful and is rare in today's game. There's no surprises for Kansas City, but I will give the Mets, and you'll like this, Don, and you know this. We went down to Kansas City, and they're a much better team at home. They're about 650 percentage at home. They win about 65% of their games at home. And we went down there, and we lost 2 out of 3. CeCe threw a gem, and we won 1 game. And I remember talking to the guys in the clubhouse, said, boy, this team is really good. I think a couple months later, they came into Yankee Stadium, and we swept them. 1, 2, 3. And the point of that story is, Don, they are beatable. But in order to beat them, you got to play great. You can't play good.
Yeah.
And to be a world champion, you have to play great.
Do you believe that Harvey and DeGrom gave in to the scouting report and maybe got away from what they do well, intimidated away from the fastball, because that's what Kansas City does well?
It is interesting with Harvey. When you throw the first pitch of the game and there's a fly ball to left center and you think is an out and is a home run, that's an incredible momentum shift for anyone. I don't care how mentally strong you are or whatnot. On the road, that place erupted. I mean, I was sitting right there in left field, above the water fountains. The 31 fastballs for Matt Harvey, for me, was alarming. I mean, you're talking about a guy that sits 70-30 fastball soft. Power fastball. If you're Tom Seaver, if you're Dwight Gooden, if you're Roger Clemens, if you're Curt Schilling, you throw your fastball. Now, you have to locate it. You have to elevate it. You have to pitch to all quadrants of the strike zone. But I thought that was an alarming number.
Now, it's interesting to me, and I think that it's been a problem with the Yankees at times as well. Yankees win when they hit home runs, and the Mets very quietly have become a home run hitting team. Cubs are a home run hitting team. Home run hitting teams get shut down by good pitching. And I think the Royals pitchers have dynamic stuff. Sometimes they're not on, but they've stopped the Mets from hitting home runs. They've pitched strategically to Murphy. You can get your singles, but you're not going to hit home runs. I think the Royals are built perfectly for postseason. They're not a home run hitting team. They put the ball in play, and they make pitchers work. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you make some good points there. If you think about the old Yankee Stadium and the 90s team with the great 90s run with Joe Torre leading them, that was a very spacious, pitcher-friendly ballpark. They had guys 1 through 9, like the Royals, that can spread the ball all over the field. It's an avalanche. I mean, when those guys are coming at you, and I said it before the series, Michael and Don, I said these guys are going to feel pressure like they've never felt before. And if you're a middle infielder or a third baseman, I've been both, driving to the stadium, you know in your head you may get 7 or 8 ground balls today. That's wholly different than having Matt Harvey go out and strike out 17 guys. If Matt Harvey strikes out 17 guys, it's almost like DHing. You have a night off. There's certain guys that's a nice relief mentally.
Don and I were talking about this earlier, and I thought of you right away. There's some talk, well, you got to get Uribe into the lineup for the Mets. He's won 2 championships. He knows how to do it. And really the only way you could get him in, you have to bench David Wright. Or you play him at second, and you have to bench Duda and move Murphy over to first. And Duda's been their best hitter. And everybody's saying, well, you can't do that to Wright. He's the captain. You got pinch hit for in a postseason game. You're one of the most famous players in baseball. Is that something the Mets could do? And bench David Wright in what would be his first World Series game at home?
No, absolutely not.
No way.
I mean, you should not even think about that, Michael. And here's why. I mean, we are very lucky. We're going to see a great World Series. I think it's going to go at least 6 games. I'm not sure in which direction, even though I picked the Mets. The Mets have been so good. Michael, we played them early in the year. They were good. They weren't great. We faced them in September. And I said, oh, boy, this has a little bit of 1986 feel. And Citi Field felt like Shea Stadium. Terry doesn't have to do anything different. Look, here's the one thing that I think it is important. Every game of the World Series, when both teams takes the field, the best player on the field, unanimous, is going to be Yoenis Cespedes. Mm-hmm. He needs a moment. Because playoffs are not about statistics. They're about moment and winning. Those are the only things that matter. Those 2 things. He needs a moment, Michael, where he hits a ball a mile. And it's checking in, and you're basically saying to your fan base, to the Royals, to everybody involved, including the umpires, we're here to play baseball, and we want to win a world championship.
Well, he hit a bomb in Game 3 against Anderson. It's still going, but it still hasn't clicked yet. I just wonder, is that shoulder right? When you watch him, does he look like a healthy player to you?
You know, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and I don't know what's Uribe's health situation. I mean, there's so many things. We're not in the clubhouse, and we're not hearing anything. But, again, Game 3 was great. The World Series is another series. You need a moment. It doesn't have to be a home run. It can be a big double. It can be a big single, like David Wright had a big single against the Dodgers. You look at a guy like Lucas Duda. I thought he had a good series against the Cubs. Numbers will tell you he didn't. But he had a big 3-run homer to help them get to the World Series. Right. I can still remember Chambliss home run or Darryl Strawberry in '86. Game 3, Dykstra had an enormous home run. Yeah. Derek Jeter missed in November. Now, I can't tell you, probably Michael can, what any of these guys hit in a particular year. But those big moments and the winners, you always remember those.
We have to take a quick time out. Can you stay a little bit more?
Sure.
All right, that's Alex Rodriguez. Also want to remind everybody that Alex is going to make an appearance with Mariano Rivera. It's called Reflections on Business and Baseball, presented by Steiner Sports. It's on Friday, November 6th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's at the Hudson Theater at the Millennium Hotel in New York. Tickets can be purchased on SteinerSports.com, and a portion of the proceeds from this event will be donated to the Mariano Rivera Foundation. I've got a lot of friends at Fox. Fox owns 80% of Yes. And they're texting me. They go, this guy works so hard. That's what's so refreshing. Like, you haven't come in there like a diva and expected everything. You really want this to work. You don't ever want to do anything where you're embarrassing yourself. So what's the thing that drives you to come in early? Joe Buck said he wants me to come in early and work with him. What's that? What do you think that's from?
Yeah, Joe's a good teacher. He's a good mentor. Michael, I love the game of baseball. Ever since I was 7, 8, 9, I've been watching, multiple games every night.
You go home and watch games after you play.
I do. I just love the game. I love to study it. It's like the famous book, your 10,000 hours, and I'm still practicing every day, and I never get tired of it. I mean, my favorite part of it, I'm a little depressed that we didn't have a game today because I want to watch baseball. And the Mets swept the Cubs. That was quite depressing. Not for you, but if you wanted to watch a long series. But, Kevin's been great. It's just great to see a great talent.
Do you want to apply your expertise to maybe being a manager someday or doing this when your career's over?
I've never thought about managing. I don't think managing will be for me. I mean, I've played 21 years in the big leagues. In a couple months, I start my 22nd. So no, not manage or coach.
How about owning?
You dream, and that would be something very interesting. I mean, to apply everything that I've learned over the last 30 years studying the game of baseball, and I think there's just some tremendous opportunities in owning a team.
All right, now let's be totally frank, which we always are. And I was saying this on Twitter yesterday. America's a country of second chances. I mean, when you consider where you were last year, Alex, it's almost incomprehensible how you have risen to this point where people really are liking you, they're enjoying you on TV. Could you ever have dreamed this big?
Well, liking me, that's very subjective. Thanks, Michael. You're being very positive. No, Michael, I mean, if you asked me that question a year ago, I had very, very small goals and very narrow goals. And they started all with baseball. It started with the roots. I'm a baseball player. That's who I am. And I wanted to stay healthy. I wanted to make the team. I wanted to be productive. And somehow or another, I was dreaming of trying to help this team and be a small cog of getting us back to the postseason, because I knew that we haven't been there in 2 years. Mm-hmm. So those were the goals. Everything else, no. The answer is no.
But you had told Michael earlier, and then you told us later on the air that you surprised yourself how well you played, right?
Very much so. Very much so. Because, I mean, look, Michael, he's been around me now for a long time. I've known Michael almost 20 years. But to think about playing 150 games, that number, I haven't played that number in over 4 or 5 years probably.
Did you run out of gas at the end? 40 years old, you hadn't played the whole year. You have good numbers when you look at them in total, but toward the end you didn't play as well as you did toward the beginning. Was there a running out of gas aspect?
I mean, there's definitely a fatigue aspect that I think. I certainly felt fatigued in August. We had a tough stretch there. September, I thought I just played poorly. I can't blame it on fatigue. I mean, the weather cooled off. I felt good. I just didn't get it done.
Do you have to prepare differently now that you've gotten older? Based on the information that you had going into last year, any tweaks or adjustments you're going to have to make going into 2016?
I thought the DH was a huge asset for me, and it really allowed me to kind of formulate a game plan to get me ready to play every day. But it's totally different when you're DH. You can actually enjoy. I remember I had conversations with Michael during batting practice for 10 or 15 minutes, and we weren't able to do that because when you play shortstop or third base, the stress level. I mean, you look at that play that David Wright didn't make on that play. You'll lose sleep for 2 months on a play like that. A strikeout, you can always overcome a strikeout. You always have another at-bat. But the stress that you put on yourself defensively is enormous, especially if you take pride in it.